Mr. Lynch, knives, only behind, whatever. It's March 18th, 2026. It's for the cloud. So raining, light rain at the moment, and practicing hands with the one who needs to be absolutely good Chinese one, or is it this is one, minus 53 and 6 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius, and it means it's really cool. Like in Severe, and last almost I think 25 days, almost 30 days. Seems more really light spring or early spring atmosphere, of course, really closest to the spring. In fact, in 3 days practically, no better, in 2 days. Yes, we enter in this noon, this Friday, in particular in Italy, in 10 and 1 a.m. Yes, same time it's still cool, cool, si specie per il più in questo porto fuori SQ. Yes, wir sind sehr verkehrt, ich habe dann das Vorjahr aus der Junge das Factory Leader kann man so der Boss alles was zusammen, das sono non mi for me, nel passare fin robori. Factory Leader kann man fare che due to now for the winter. Per cambiamento di mese si mette in particolare, anzi che senti for 3 pm in Italy, as absolutely non mi fin robori sono bordo in scena suppose di I'm sure I try to see the remaining things. So it's sense for purpose, effectivamente to change the better perhaps per to me. E di su integrare su ping, some new things that spring is also soft. For some reagent hot for the old once again soft so that's chef for the season so the birza. Kasi кажете, se degree at this me was something something good weather, so the complete better. Non is a beer because it's winter, it's also we complete. Should complete at one as it is it's absolutely sentence absolutely can complete. I'm referring also for the in particular perhaps really for this beer thanks effect for the fact non feel cool better feel cool less. Pivot in questa isola Drax per tu Drax in particolare fanno due senza mia se c'è questo record nel cambio di Winter Pio Winter Ports Pio genere avrà comment where party in one of my comments which check spin utare che su Drax significa che si tutti first part of the sconto di nostri su sono interesse come utare su Drax ripeti sì che si dice si first part of the sconto di testa scoprire su più non think not think because in fact if you could relative io sono di si penso te ma ti think 95% per cool o Avenger and some way for me was good. Still a lot of scattered stazione I can say something it's for it's bad, really bad. Altissimi, scambio sono famosi di anche lì affermano finché 3% di si dice si for 60 no 50 53 and 65 12 Celsius. Guarda, in pratica siamo si ci vedi. Se fu due di siamo. Sì, cortina sono tre cortine, già se mi riempie intenzionale ci usiamo sto perfect, si suppose. Fa che non da ripetere, si sky è totally wet cloudy, perhaps more white than gray, at già wet cloudy, and also with this lettering, and considering that not of the last days, because last days we have nostro beautiful podcast come si chiama il nostro lì at ovvero cioè most of all the days clear ovvero consider more the trend of the last weeks according consider what read consider today according consider what read today in fact according considering my sensations everything I think it's possible that not possible in pratica it's sure that later in it from it's really left but became vabbè darker bleaker also that we have very so let's see what happens But as soon as you enter G and so it's supposed to see if the see the title like scheme today, but here, so band Max not was a little good. So si sono, mi dico, quindi ogni volta cortini in frase sono queste influenze si sono cortini senza last abbiamo magari things that sono su birthday previous particolare the birthday to previous as and only for so no it was the previous cortini was beautiful day cortini beautiful painted with branches but deep in all the passage fact from adesso cortini to new thing is rimettere si ritorna come come section also si ritorna ma come si it should be buff that but for the third first comment and the fourth comment yes see one of them si ritorna one of them in the comment section I don't know if you can see notice it really the shot near me from it on one end I think yes see in flowers longer flowers mixed triplets I don't know, in fact, or if not, even better, she bought in the shot spark festival to video which veloce a shoot you do it scatta sfiange from scazzi come dio quindi scazzi come loro bisogna apre a saps non rosso dall'amico quindi dall'amico Roma. Ora, fra bird perspective, also for example, like a shot simulator, rescue shot film on intersigo for the fra tu sei che il November 1 so tu e should be il November 1 or in front November 1 cioè more intersigo but it should be November 1 so tu for the press cortine di bit visual grey cortine di visual paint bench da posso for the first strutture storia corsa cara cortine fan entry mix at least sure cara cortine stilni cover menci chane quando e sono età ci dice dove a voi si sing this is shot so soliti this effect buff quando risenta non riuscito non so quando ma quando si effect now I see a little speech or sentence swing easy for the best cortine bit visual cortine visual paint bench steps swing easy for the first strutture storia corsa la cortina info swing easy entry mix at and now swing easy assure ditto su finire cortine so ma repeat expression swing easy for 4 times e so there is little speech or sentences is but also always better visible for me in its entity il rendise shot si consi mitico legendary shot sigare riconosciute in attivismo fatto attivismo questo reso da ottobre si parte tutto il attivismo nella serie delle speech or sentence su forte cortino sferito per su voglio sferito so repeat once again but also always better visible for me its entity its shot si pensimenti con il genere shot finally from a mythical keyboard GX in 40 PC 625 also in the case of Micro Genere Shot since a few weeks also in a shot pratically fact film edit on January 24th to Saturday to which you can see the actual condition of the keyboard but actual condition since December 2nd to 24 in fact since today this is the main problem practically the fact there is no light on the display there are also the little problems about another little problem but the main problem is the fact that there is no light on the display one day sono inevitabilmente to fix it questi molti people of chance sports e addirittura sono per me system su myself as pesquisa in finally I hope you all get breakfast please late in general also massive because late in France maybe last December 31 fact that okay for this time it's late in general for the people both for my record but not at all for my I suppose for me so kind of also for my make breakfast this was better said between the winter period or in pratica ACDC because we are going to the end better said between December and January and less since February less because since this month and April in particular until the next December January but siamo veramente lì but all important is very good relations and marriage was time for come back sentence assembly is sweet but I think milk at fintene apartment is was it think tre cose serie se mai stesso straccio what you repeat what you close si carica quel tuo sonas si meta meno more than the SC just for era just rolly obviously just included in 29 minutes but the important which is remember set in some also be fortunate so memory angry. And as we always say, breakfast is the most beautiful thing that's for world. Absolutely. As you know, it's quanto more than yes, I always lose the effect of Reso on Friday, Susan Squeak but breakfast, but regarding Reso, si wants new Reso, the dark blue and white, the 6 new story with reports, and for the customers, you need the first was blue and white, in this case, light blue and white, also the first one with reports the second for the aspects, yes, and the second time I think I've been using it since a week of 15 Friday ago, if not 15, 14 minutes, it should be 15, and so things that perhaps they follow me in particular on Fridays where what report I think nobody, so as no one watch any other videos of mine, so the weather reports, I guess it should be in the time being, but the music to one day or one time, so I should better get the president necessary to these things, or maybe speech should you the rise on Friday, from Sana shots obviously, and for Sana shots obviously, you to we are talking about tomorrow morning, and some and for the biscuits, I'm afraid fact that I remember for combos and beautiful biscuits and see, I think the one must have to be the chocolate chip cookies, all the cookies, chip, chocolate chips, and if not a mistake, it's 30 pieces of Mr. Lynch. But in particular, two things that red and this was about milk factor shots, toilet and coffee, but also quick shock, in fact, sostanze for shot fragment videos, shot training, flastering. I months si chiesa lo sto conto, should be busy on the beer, so that she better better was more is quick finish analysis once it birthday once again. Saying 92, 93, 94 days, particular result of exam is this month mentioned before, yes, this should be 8 months. Vabbè, non si chiesa lo sto conto, should be busy on the beer, so time she was better, and so since 7 months, 3 patterns, 30 once again the milk, so very good news. And quindi si usa tecnica breakfast, questa è una bomba, si last prima in particolare a mega bomba, infatti che se last video c'è gioco io sul fatto more Romania, solo questo mi fingo first time su last video, e finché non sono se toll in caso breakfast, questa è mega bomba. Se continui se qualsiasi, e in frebbe sia strada con di Italian Sea, anzi mi sa se compie position, fra posso Xeco with the palm at first position, ma in generale vuol essere un position. Because attraverso questa posizione mi dà Italian Palma da shock GPCS. Fact questo è 2,2 because they are really super bad. Yes, tomorrow supposed to traffic. Tomorrow to go to lab. Now I'll see.